The final test that you get right before you get exactly what you want. Once you learn the skill of detaching from things, life is actually so easy. Do not give up. Do not give up. Is this what you really want? Zoom all the way out on life. Sit back and let things happen the way they're supposed to happen. Are you willing to overlook red flags? That's not the one. But you're running out of patience, so now you think that's the one. That's not the one, sis. Because those who are able to think fast in life are always gonna win. People that think fast in life are always gonna win because they know how to. Hello, hi, my name is Bentina, and today we are talking about a very special topic, the test that life gives you right before you get exactly what you want. So like many people, including myself, you've probably had moments where you feel like you're about to move on to the next level in life, or you're about to get this promotion, you're about to get into a relationship, you're about to, get something that you've been wanting for a long time, right? But then once you think you get it, you actually don't get it at all. And it was just a test from the universe. And you're like, what? Why am I getting tested again? Like, why? This, like another test? Like, really, God? Like, really another one? And you just kind of like start to lose hope. You start feeling like, am I even meant to get this thing that I want? Am I even meant to, is this even for me? You start to feel like that. So that's why we're here today, because I wanted to talk about the test that life gives you right before you get exactly what you want. And whether or not you're going through this right now or you have gone through it, you know that it's actually a good thing that it happened. Yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about today. I honestly didn't know how I wanted to structure this video or how I wanted it to go, but I'm just going to speak and, let you guys hear from my experiences and then what I've learned in the past and how you guys can also add this or use this in your current life and lifestyle. So why is life testing you? Let's talk about that. So why is life testing you? Has anyone ever had those moments where you thought you were about to get something, but it just turned out to be a test? And I know when I caught myself in these moments, I never really understood why this was happening. I always felt like it was just happening to me. It wasn't happening to me for any good, and I never saw any reason behind it. But then when I did some reflection, I've learned in the past and like in my experience that these tests are actually a good thing and something a lot of people should look at as a blessing and a overall just like something that needs to happen in order for you to get what you really, really want in the end. I wanted to talk about this topic because I wanted to shed light on those that might feel discouraged or those that might feel like they haven't gotten to where they want to be just yet and they seem to not get there and they're starting to lose hope. I've been in a place where I've almost lost hope. I've been in a couple like places in my life where I've felt like there's no end goal. I feel like I've been in a lot of situations where it's just been back to back, just like lessons, back to back lessons. And it's never I finally got that thing. It's always a lesson, right? But now I'm realizing that these lessons, all the lessons I've gone through in my life were something necessary enough for me to grow as an individual and as a woman, first and foremost. So I wanted to dive into this topic and hopefully this helps somebody out there to not lose hope and learn that these lessons are a good thing. So let's get into it. So let's start with why life is testing you and why are you going through these tests? What's the purpose? These tests are brought to you almost as checkpoints from the universe to see if you are truly ready for what you really want, right? So let's dive a little bit deeper here. When you are being tested, the universe is almost like seeing like if you are prepared. Are you ready for what you really want? Are you ready for that next level? Have you gotten the tools yet to do this thing that you want to do or, be this person that you want to be, whatever. Unless you're like this super lucky person in life and you just get whatever you want so easily and you don't have to work for anything, then congrats. But if you're like a lot of people that actually have to work to get what they want, then you know that you're not going to get handed everything on a silver platter. It's just not that easy. Life doesn't work that way. So God or the universe is going to test you through life just to see if you really are capable and ready and have the tools to do what you want to really do and be who you really want to be, right? So these tests are basically like the universe asking you like, hey, are you really ready for this? Do you really, really want this? Is this what you really want? It's going to test you over and over and over again just to see if you really want this. And whether or not you really want this will tell based on how you react. I broke down the tests into 5 different categories. The first one is what I would like to call the patience test. Now, the patience test will test your patience, right? So the patience test will come in a way where maybe, let's say you've been putting in a lot of work or time and energy towards a project, a business, whatever. Let's say you have this business and you've been putting in a lot of work. You've been putting in a lot of time, energy, resources, money, and nothing is changing. Nothing is changing, right? But you keep showing up. You keep doing this. You keep doing that. But nothing is changing, and you just don't see the point of like, why am I still doing this? I'm not seeing any outcome. I'm not making any money. I'm wasting my time. That's the patience test right there. That moment where you're like, should I keep doing this or should I move on to something else that makes me actual money? And a lot of people, I get it. Like, I get it. We got to pay our bills. You're probably going to go to whatever is making you money at that time. The way to succeed the patience test in this example would be to continue to keep working on this business or this thing that you've been working on for probably the past year. Because you never know when this thing will pop off. You never know when the moment will happen where you actually start making money and you start seeing the end goal that you've been looking forward to. So that's the patience test. When you notice that moment where you're like, should I give up or should I keep going? Because you are running out of patience and you're running out of resources and you're starting to freak out. So the universe will test whether or not you have that in you to keep pushing forward, even when you don't see any results, even when you don't see that, it's working, this thing is working. Or let's talk about a relationship, because I know a lot of people will relate to that. Let's say you've been single for, what, 2 years. You haven't been dating, you haven't been doing anything. You've just been single. And you're starting to run out of patience because you're like, okay, I've been outside, I've been here, I've been there, I've been inside, I haven't been doing much. I've done it all and I'm still single. So you're like, okay, well, now what? I'm starting to get antsy. Will I ever get married? Will I ever get in a relationship? Will I ever get my person? So now that because you're running out of patience, you start to settle. You start to overlook things. You start to think that, this is the best I can get. This is not the best you can get. Whatever you think is the best you can get is not the best you can get. Regardless of that, you start to settle. And that is you failing the patience test. Because if you just waited a little bit longer, you probably would have gotten exactly what you wanted in a partner. You probably would have gotten your ideal partner if you just waited. If you didn't scramble around because you thought you were running out of time, or maybe you met someone and you thought this was the one, like, I need to hold on to him. That's not the one. But you're running out of patience, so now you think that's the one. That's not the one, sis. Like, that is not the one. Stop settling. Don't settle. Don't ever settle if you feel like you're running out of time. Because that is just the universe's way of seeing if you have enough patience to get what you really want, or are you just going to settle because you think you're running out of time. So this next test is the character test. Now with the character test, let's take the relationship example that I just used. So let's say you want to be in a relationship really, really bad, right? So you are overlooking maybe your partner's cheating, maybe he has other things going on that you don't really agree with, but you overlook them because you want to be in a relationship. So you overlook character flaws and you take shortcuts, and maybe you don't really do things how you know you should be doing them because you are wanting to be in a relationship. So the character test really highlights whether or not your values and your morals are important to you. Are you willing to overlook red flags? Are you willing to take shortcuts in life that you know you shouldn't be doing? It's not going to get you exactly what you want, but it's going to give you half of what you want. But as long as you have whatever, you're fine with that. Is your character willing to take shortcuts in life to get half of what you want? Is your character willing to take shortcuts and accept half of what you really want because you just want it and you don't care how much of it you get? You just want that thing in general? If the answer is no, then you pass the character test. If the answer is yes, then you failed the character test. So the next test is the resilience test. The resilience test shows you whether or not you are strong enough to pick yourself back up when life knocks you down. So for example, because I love giving examples, let's say you get laid off from your job. Let's say you get laid off from your job, right? Are you able to pick yourself back up quickly and think fast? Are you able to think fast? Because those who are able to think fast in life are always going to win. People that think fast in life are always going to win because they know how to pivot. They know how to change things around and adapt, because life is very wishy-washy. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? So people that are able to think fast and who are resilient in life are always going to succeed. And I noticed that, I'm going to take me for example, when I was younger, I noticed that whenever something in life happened, I was very quick on my feet to adapt and change my situation so that I don't ever sink. You know, I've done a lot of crazy things all on my own at a very young age. So I think that once you learn that skill of thinking fast in life and always knowing how to pick yourself back up, you almost can never fail in life. You literally can never fail. Learning how to always keep yourself afloat no matter what, and put your pride aside when life tests you and leaves you at your rock bottom, that will show you whether or not you are able to succeed in life. When life tests you the most, to the point where you are literally rock bottom, you don't know where you're going to get your next dollar. You don't know anything. But you know that you're resilient enough to pick yourself up, figure something out, and always push through. So that is what I would like to call the resilience test, because the resilience test will really show you whether or not you are built for this shit. Okay? Whether or not you are built for life. Life is not always rainbows. Life is not always smiley and calm, peaceful. Life isn't always like that. I wish it was, but it's not. So the resilience test will really show you if you really are built for this stuff. Now, the next test is the detachment test. Now, with detachment is basically the principle of letting things go and letting go of the outcome. When you learn detachment and learn to let go of the outcome of everything that you go through, you are then showing the universe that you are able to trust the process. You are able to let things unfold how they're supposed to unfold and not worry about whether or not you're going to get what you want, because you already know you're going to get what you want. Once you learn the skill of detaching from things, life is actually so easy because you already feel like you have what you want. You already feel like you already have it. It's already yours. So once you detach from the outcome, the universe then sees that and gives you exactly what you want. I actually wanted to talk about detachment in like another video, but let's get back to detachment. Once you learn to detach from the universe then notices that you are no longer holding on to an outcome because you already know that it's yours. You already know that whatever you desire is already yours. You don't need to worry. You don't need to think any negative thoughts towards an outcome because it's already yours. All you have to do is sit back and trust the process. And the last test that I'm going to talk about is the commitment test. The commitment test also kind of ties in with the patience test, but I like to break everything down to make it as simple as possible for you guys to understand. And with the commitment test, you're basically being tested whether or not you are able to stay committed to your goals, whatever you want, your desires, through the stress, through the long nights, through maybe the early mornings and the not seeing any income, etc. It's seeing whether or not you are really committed to what you want. And see, the difference between what we want and what we need is very, very different. What we think that we want sometimes is really not what we need in life, and vice versa. So these tests will strip away any superficial idea of our wants or our desires and really get down to the nitty gritty, deep meaning of what we really need in life. So sometimes the things that we really, really want are just not good for us. And the things that we really, really want can be distractions. They can be things that were not even meant to be in our timeline. And we're just distracted by, oh, I really want to be in a relationship because my friend is in a relationship. Or, oh, I need to be in this job because my friend is in this job. But realistically, life will test you in many, many ways to distinguish between your wants versus your needs. Sometimes what we really want is not really the best for us. And the things that we really, really want can end up being detrimental to our actual needs in life and our actual desires. Okay, so enough with all the test talk. Let's talk about how we can pass these tests and how we can actually move forward when we are going through these tests. So the very first thing is to just trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. I mean, let things go. Sometimes things aren't working because it wasn't meant to work. That's all happening for a reason. It's all happening for a reason. Just trust the process. Lay back. Sometimes you just need to sit back, zoom out, zoom all the way out on life. Sit back and let things happen the way they're supposed to happen. Stop trying to force stuff. And the next thing you can do is start by recognizing that if you're being tested, that means what you really want is around the corner. Start by noticing that when you are being tested, the things that you really want is just around the corner. I know it's easy to look around and you see your friends and your family or your coworkers doing so much better than you, and you just like aren't there yet. I know it's so easy to see that and start to doubt yourself and start to think like, is this going to happen for me? Am I going to get there? Or like, is this meant for me too? And the answer is always going to be yes. Everything that you want, you can get. But in order to do that, you need to stay focused on yourself. And yes, it's good to congratulate your friends and family on their accomplishments, on them achieving their goals. But at the same time, don't compare yourself because everyone's story is completely different. Never compare yourself to anybody, a stranger, a friend, a family member, because their journey is not your journey. Period. Their journey is not your journey. Don't ever compare your journey to theirs because it's completely different. This also can tie in with people that drag you down. This can also go in the opposite direction. Whereas if you are friends with someone or maybe acquaintances with someone that are not really going in the direction that you want to go in, it's fine to maybe unfollow or separate yourself from them just a little bit so you can kind of, elevate. If you notice that people aren't elevating in the way that you're elevating, it's okay to leave them where they are. It's okay to leave people exactly where they are because it's not your responsibility to pick them up on your back and carry them with you. It's not your responsibility to take care of everyone around you. You need to be focusing on yourself. You need to be focusing on your own goals. So if that means you need to detach and unfriend, unfollow, whatever you need to do, block people, whatever. If that means you have to do that in order for you to continue on your journey of elevation and becoming the person that you really want to be and reaching your goals, reaching your, dreams, then so be it. And don't ever feel bad for doing that, ever. Going through tests or struggles or failures is not a sign of like being weak or being in like this weird fight or flight mode. It's actually just character building. I've always thought, like, in the past, like, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? Why am I going through the struggle? What is the message here? Why am I going through all of these issues and struggles and facing all this stuff? What is the real, like, what is the outcome of all of this? But this is really just a way to build your character. You can't build wisdom without any adversity or any experience or anything. You can't build character, wisdom, anything without these things. So how are you going to become the person that you want to become without going through a little bit of, pushback from the universe, a little bit of something to build you up to become that person you want to be? It's not a thing of, oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I'm just struggling. Oh, my life is so negative. These are things that are needed to build you up to become the person you want to be. When you just zoom out the whole entire thing, the whole entire plan, like timeline, everything, these things that you're facing are not meant as a negative thing. They're meant for you to grow from them. All good things that have been created haven't been created without a little bit of chaos. Chaos in life is almost necessary for you to create something beautiful and to create something that you've always wanted. You need a little bit of pushback from the universe. Okay, let's talk about the final challenge, the final test that you get right before you get exactly what you want. So this is, I would like to call the final boss, right? It's kind of a funny way to say it, but this is the final boss. The final, like, the universe is like, okay, let's see if she's really, really ready. Let's see if she can handle this final challenge. And once you pass the final challenge from the universe, once you've passed this final test, whether or not you have discipline, character, patience, detachment, and commitment, then the universe will give you everything that you want. Everything that you want. It's a no-brainer. It's like you've passed. You've passed. Maybe you're working the worst job that you've ever worked in your life, or you don't know where you're going to go in life, or when you really just feel like giving up, that is a sign that you are about to get everything that you want because you have pushed through so far to this very moment. You've pushed through. You've kept pushing through. Now the universe has seen that you've pushed through to the very end. You feel like you're about to give up. You really feel like, I have nothing left to give. I've given it my best. I've pushed through to the very end. I don't know what to do. You have passed the test. That means you have passed the test of life. You have built yourself up to become this person who is now ready to receive everything that they want. It is always the hardest when you are about to break through in life. You will see yourself at the very bottom. You have gone through so many challenges in life. Every time you've been knocked down, you've picked yourself back up. Every time someone said no, you've said okay and moved on to the next. Every time something didn't work out for you, you always made a way. You are now ready for what you want. That is the whole entire message for this. Don't ever lose hope, because God in the universe, whatever you believe in, will always challenge you the hardest right before you break through. Right before you break through. So don't ever lose hope. You are so close to getting what you want. You are so close. Don't give up now. Do not give up. Do not give up. This is the final test. Once you pass this test, you are good. You're gold. You're golden. You're golden. Once you pass this last test, you're good. You're good to go. And I promise you that. Okay, so I wanted to end this conversation with this one last piece of advice. And that is, these tests are not meant to break you. They are meant to mold you. And remember that every challenge that we face is meant to level us up in some way, shape, or form. So if you're going through a tough time in life right now, then congratulations. You are about to get exactly what you want. All right, so that is everything I wanted to say. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This video is sponsored by absolutely no one. So anything that you guys do is very much appreciated over here. Don't forget to listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and I will speak to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.